Aliens laugh at humans. The big room was full of strange noises. Aliens from all over the galaxy sat in tall chairs. They looked funny. Some had big eyes, others had long arms. But they all looked important. In the middle of the room stood John. He was the only human there. John felt small next to the aliens. His heart beat fast, but he tried to look brave. An alien with blue skin and 3 eyes spoke. His voice boomed through the room. "Humans want to join our space group." "Ha! They can't even travel fast in space." Many aliens laughed. The room filled with weird alien chuckles and snorts. John's face turned red. He wanted to shout, but he knew he had to stay calm. A green alien with antennae waved its long arms. "I heard humans still use metal ships." "How cute." More laughter filled the room. John took a deep breath. He started to speak. Earth may be new to space travel, but a fat alien with purple spots cut him off. "New? You're like babies playing with toys." The alien made a sound like a pig snorting. Other aliens joined in, making fun of human technology. In a corner, a young alien named Zorp watched quietly. Zorp had read about humans. He thought they were interesting. But Zorp was too shy to speak up. The blue alien spoke again. "Humans think they can fight in space. They'll get crushed like bugs." He made a squashing motion with his hand. John tried to explain about Earth's armies, but no one listened. They were too busy making jokes. A thin alien with a long neck stood up. "I say we let humans join." Everyone looked at him, surprised. Then he added, "We need someone to clean our ships." The room exploded with laughter again. John's hands shook. He wanted to run away, but he remembered his job, to make aliens take humans seriously. He had to stay strong. Zorp felt bad for John. He wanted to help, but he was scared of the older aliens. Zorp sank lower in his seat, wishing he was braver. The meeting went on for hours. Every time John tried to talk about Earth's strengths, the aliens found a way to make fun of it. "Humans use bullets. Why not just throw rocks?" One alien joked. "I bet their spacesuits are made of paper," another one added. John felt tired and sad. He had hoped to make friends with aliens. Instead, they treated him like a stupid child. As the meeting ended, the blue alien leader approached John. "Don't feel bad, little human. Maybe in 1,000 years, you'll be ready to play with the big boys." He patted John on the head like a pet. John wanted to say something clever, but words failed him. He watched as the aliens left, still laughing and joking about humans. Only Zorp stayed behind. He walked up to John slowly. I think humans are cool," Zorp said in a quiet voice. John smiled a little. "Thanks," he said. At least one alien was nice. "Do you really have ships made of metal?" Zorp asked, his eyes wide with curiosity. John nodded. "And they're stronger than you think." Zorp looked excited. "Can you tell me more?" "Please." For the first time that day, John felt happy. He started telling Zorp about Earth's ships. Zorp listened with wonder. Neither of them knew it, but this small friendship would become very important later. As John left the meeting, he felt angry and hurt, but deep inside, he felt something else too. A fire was burning in his heart. "We'll show them," he thought. "One day, they'll see what humans can really do." Little did the laughing aliens know, their jokes were lighting a spark. Humans don't like being looked down on. And when humans get angry, they can do amazing things. The aliens thought this meeting was just a funny joke. They didn't know they had just challenged the most determined species in the galaxy. Earth was going to prove them all wrong, and it was going to be spectacular. Earth's hidden surprise. John's ship landed on Earth with a soft thud. His heart felt heavy. The laughter of the aliens still rang in his ears. As he stepped out, a crowd waited for him. They looked hopeful. John took a deep breath. He had to tell them the bad news. They laughed at us, John said, his voice shaking. They think we're weak. The crowd went quiet. Then someone spoke up. It was Sarah, the head of Earth's defense. Her eyes sparkled with a strange light. "Let them laugh," she said. "We'll show them what humans can do." John looked confused. "But how? Our ships are slow. Our weapons are weak." Sarah smiled. "Follow me," she said. "It's time you saw our secret." They went to a big elevator. It went down, down, down. John felt like they were going to the center of the earth. When the doors opened, his jaw dropped. They were in a huge underground city. People rushed around. Weird machines beeped and hummed. John saw things he couldn't even explain. "Welcome to Project Phoenix," Sarah said. While the aliens laughed, we were busy. John walked past rows of shiny new spaceships. They looked nothing like the old ones. "Are these ours?" he asked in wonder. Sarah nodded. "Faster than light. Stronger than anything the aliens have." They passed a room full of soldiers. But these soldiers were different. They moved like cats, quick and smooth. Some lifted weights that looked impossibly heavy. "Super soldiers," Sarah explained. "Stronger, faster, smarter than normal humans." John's head spun. "How did we do all this?" Sarah's face turned serious. "We knew the aliens wouldn't accept us. So we prepared. Every joke, every insult, it pushed us to work harder." They entered a lab. Scientists worked on strange devices. One scientist held up a small box. "Our newest weapon," he said proudly. "It can shut down any alien tech with one pulse." John couldn't believe his eyes. "But where did we get these ideas?" An old man stepped forward. It was Dr. Chen, Earth's top scientist. "From our history," he said. "Humans have always been good at war. We took those old ideas and made them work in space." Dr. Chen showed John a screen. It had plans for space battles. "See this? It's like how ships fought on Earth's oceans. But now, it's for space." John saw more amazing things. Guns that shot light. Shields made of energy. Robots that could fix ships in seconds. "Why didn't we show the aliens these?" John asked. Sarah smiled again. "Because surprise is our best weapon. They think we're weak. When we show our real strength, they won't know what hit them." Suddenly, alarms started blaring. Red lights flashed everywhere. A young soldier ran up to them, looking scared. "What's happening?" Sarah asked, her voice sharp. The soldier saluted. "Ma'am, we just got a message. The Galactic Council is under attack. Some new alien race is destroying everything." John's heart raced. "We have to help them." Sarah looked at him, her eyes hard. "Why?" "They laughed at us, remember?" John stood tall. "Because it's the right thing to do. And because it's our chance to show them what humans can really do." Sarah thought for a moment. Then she nodded. "You're right. It's time to unveil Project Phoenix." She turned to the crowd of scientists and soldiers. "Everyone, this is what we've been preparing for. Let's show the galaxy what humans are made of." The underground city burst into action. Soldiers ran to their ships. Scientists packed up their inventions. It looked like a giant ant hill, buzzing with energy. John felt a mix of excitement and fear. "What should I do?" he asked Sarah. She handed him a special suit. It looked like it was made of liquid metal. "You're our speaker, John. You'll lead the talk. We'll handle the action." As John put on the suit, he felt stronger, faster. He realized this was what humans could really be. Not weak, not stupid, but amazing. The fleet of secret ships rose from hidden doors in the ground. They filled the sky, shining like new stars. Inside the main ship, John looked at the Earth getting smaller below them. He thought about the laughing aliens. He thought about Zorb, the one friendly alien. "We're not here to make fun of anyone," John said to himself. "We're here to help, and to show the real strength of humans." As the ships jumped to light speed, John felt a new feeling: pride, hope, and a little bit of excitement for the surprise they were about to give the galaxy. The aliens wanted to see what humans could do. Well, they were about to find out, and it was going to be amazing. Space monsters attack. The Galactic Council's main planet was in chaos. Huge, dark ships filled the sky. They looked like angry storm clouds. Strange creatures poured out of them. They weren't like any alien anyone had seen before. These new aliens were big and scary. They had thick, scaly skin and lots of sharp teeth. Their eyes glowed red. Everyone started calling them space monsters. The blue alien leader who had laughed at humans now shook with fear. "What are these things?" he shouted. No one had an answer. The space monsters attacked everything. Their weapons melted buildings like ice cream on a hot day. The Galactic Council's ships tried to fight back, but their shots just bounced off the monster ships. Zorp, the young alien who had been nice to John, ran through the streets. He was looking for his family. Everywhere, people were screaming and running. "Help us!" Zorp heard someone shout. He saw a group of aliens trapped under a fallen wall. Zorp wanted to help, but he was too small and weak. Just then, a space monster turned towards Zorp. It made a horrible growling noise. Zorp froze in fear. He thought this was the end. Suddenly, a bright light filled the sky. Everyone looked up. New ships were coming. They were shiny and smooth. They moved faster than anything Zorp had ever seen. The blue alien leader's eyes went wide. "Those aren't our ships," he said. "Whose are they?" His question was answered when a voice boomed from the new ships. It was John's voice. "This is Earth," John said. "We're here to help." The space monsters turned to attack the Earth ships. They shot their melting beams. But something amazing happened. The Earth ships didn't melt. Instead, they glowed and the beams bounced off. "Impossible," the blue alien leader said. "How can they do that?" Earth's ships started fighting back. They shot beams of light that cut through the space monsters' ships like they were made of paper. Then, smaller ships came out of the big Earth ships. These moved so fast, they looked like blurs. Inside were the super soldiers John had seen on Earth. The soldiers jumped out of their ships. They wore special suits that made them look like shiny robots. They started fighting the space monsters on the ground. Zorp watched in awe. The human soldiers were so strong. They could pick up space monsters and throw them. Their suits protected them from the monsters' sharp claws. One soldier ran over to the aliens trapped under the wall. With one hand, he lifted the heavy wall. The trapped aliens crawled out, looking amazed. "Thank you," they said. The soldier nodded and ran off to fight more monsters. The battle was fierce. The space monsters were strong, but the humans were smart. They used tricks the monsters didn't expect. Some human ships released tiny robots. These robots flew into the monsters' ships and made them stop working. Other humans used weapons that made big bubbles. These bubbles trapped the space monsters and lifted them into the air. Slowly, the humans started to win. The space monsters looked confused. They had never met anyone who could fight them before. The leader of the space monsters, a huge creature with extra arms, roared in anger. It jumped onto the roof of a tall building. From there, it started shooting a super strong beam at everything. "We need to stop that leader," John's voice said from the ships. Zorp saw a human soldier nod. The soldier's suit suddenly grew wings. He flew up towards the monster leader, dodging its beams. The monster leader roared and tried to hit the flying soldier, but the soldier was too fast. He flew around the monster, making it dizzy. Then, quick as lightning, the soldier threw something at the monster. It looked like a small ball. When it hit the monster, it exploded into a net of light. The net wrapped around the monster leader, making it fall. With their leader caught, the other space monsters started to run away. They got back into their ships and flew off into space. Everyone was quiet for a moment. Then cheers erupted from all the aliens. They had been saved. The blue alien leader walked up to John, who had come down from his ship. The leader looked ashamed. "We were wrong about humans," he said. "You saved us all." John smiled. "We're just glad we could help," he said. Zorp pushed through the crowd. He looked up at John with big eyes. "That was amazing," he said. "Can you teach us to be strong like humans?" John laughed. "Sure," he said. "But first, let's clean up this mess. There's a lot of work to do." As aliens and humans started working together to fix the damage, everyone realized something had changed. Humans weren't a joke anymore. They were heroes. And this was just the beginning of a new adventure for everyone in the galaxy. Humans joined the fight. The Galactic Council room was buzzing with excitement. Aliens of all shapes and sizes crowded around screens, watching human ships zoom through space. It was like nothing they had ever seen before. John stood in the middle, feeling proud but also a little nervous. The blue alien leader, who had once laughed at humans, now looked at John with respect. "We need your help," the blue leader said. "The space monsters are attacking more planets. Will humans join the fight?" John nodded. "That's why we're here," he said. "But we'll do things our way." The alien leaders looked confused. "Your way?" a green, tentacled alien asked. "What do you mean?" John smiled. "You'll see. First, we need to know everything about these space monsters." Zorp, the young alien who had become friends with John, jumped up. "I can help," he said. "I've been studying them since the attack." Everyone gathered around as Zorp showed his findings on a big screen. The space monsters were strong, but they had weaknesses too. They couldn't see well in bright light. They didn't like cold. And they had trouble with quick, unpredictable movements. "Interesting," John said, his mind already working on plans. Sarah, the head of Earth's defense, spoke up. "We'll need to work together," she said to the aliens. "Our ships are fast, but we don't know the galaxy like you do." The aliens nodded, eager to help. For the first time, they were treating humans as equals. John turned to the crowd. "Okay, here's the plan. We'll split into teams. Each team will have humans and aliens working together." He pointed to a map of the galaxy. "The space monsters are attacking here, here, and here. We'll hit them at all three places at once. They won't know what hit them." The room filled with cheers. Aliens and humans started forming teams. It was strange to see creatures so different working together, but everyone was excited. Zorp tugged on John's sleeve. "Can I join a team?" he asked. "I want to help fight." John looked at the small alien. Zorp wasn't strong or fast, but he was smart and brave. "Sure," John said. "Every team needs a good thinker." As the teams got ready, Sarah showed off some of Earth's secret weapons. There were ships that could turn invisible, guns that shot ice instead of fire, and robots that could fix damaged ships in seconds. The aliens were amazed. "Why didn't you show us these before?" one asked. Sarah winked. "A good magician never reveals all their tricks at once," she said. Soon, it was time to leave. The ships took off, filling the sky with lights. Humans and aliens sat side by side in the cockpits, ready for adventure. John led the first team to a planet covered in thick jungles. The space monsters had a big base there. As they got close, John gave the signal. "Lights on," he shouted. Suddenly, all the human ships lit up like giant flashlights. The space monsters on the ground roared in pain, covering their eyes. "Now, ice bombs," John ordered. The ships dropped special bombs that exploded into clouds of freezing ice. The space monsters slowed down, shivering in the cold. On another planet, Sarah led her team against a space monster fleet. Her ships zoomed around the big monster ships, moving so fast they were hard to see. "Deploy the sticky nets," Sarah commanded. Her ships shot out nets made of a special, stretchy material. The nets wrapped around the monster ships, tangling them up. The space monsters tried to fight back, but they couldn't hit the fast human ships. It was like trying to catch flies with a spoon. Meanwhile, Zorp was with a team attacking a space monster factory on a small moon. He had an idea. The monsters talk to each other with smells, Zorp said. What if we change their smells? The human captain grinned. Brilliant, she said. They sprayed the monster ships with a stinky perfume. Suddenly, the space monsters started fighting each other, confused by the new smells. All across the galaxy, humans and aliens worked together to outsmart the space monsters. They used tricks and plans that the monsters never expected. A few days later, John stood in front of the Galactic Council again. But this time, no one was laughing. The space monsters are retreating, John said. We've won. The room erupted in cheers. Aliens hugged humans, forgetting how different they looked. The blue alien leader stepped forward. We were wrong about humans, he said. You're not weak or stupid. You're the most surprising species we've ever met. John smiled. We're full of surprises, he said, and we're just getting started. As John looked around the room, he saw humans and aliens talking and laughing together. Zorp was showing a group of aliens how to play a human game called rock, paper, scissors. John realized something important. By working together, they hadn't just beaten the space monsters. They had started something new and exciting. A friendship between humans and aliens that could change the whole galaxy. And that was the biggest surprise of all. The big battle. The galaxy was quiet. Too quiet. It had been weeks since the humans and aliens had pushed back the space monsters. Everyone hoped the monsters were gone for good. But John wasn't so sure. He paced the deck of the biggest human ship, the Starhammer. Something didn't feel right. Suddenly, alarms blared. Red lights flashed everywhere. Zorp, who was now working on the human ship, ran to John. They're back, Zorp shouted. And there are more of them than ever. John looked at the big screen. His heart sank. Thousands of space monster ships were coming. It was like a huge dark cloud moving through space. This is it, John said. The big battle we've been waiting for. He pressed a button. His voice boomed across the galaxy. Attention all ships. This is John from Earth. The space monsters are back. We need everyone for this fight. Ships from every planet in the galaxy started to appear. Humans, aliens, and even robots all came together. It was the biggest fleet anyone had ever seen. Sarah's voice crackled over the radio. John, we got a problem. Our scans show the monsters have a new weapon. It can shut down our ships. John frowned. This was bad news, but then he had an idea. Zorp, he called. You said the monsters use smells to talk, right? Zorp nodded. Yes. Why? John grinned. What if we make our ships smell like their ships? They might get confused and not use their weapon. Zorp's eyes went wide. That's crazy. But it might work. They quickly sprayed all the ships with a stinky monster smell. It was gross, but it might save their lives. The space monster fleet got closer. Everyone held their breath. Would the trick work? The biggest monster ship fired its new weapon. A purple beam shot out. But when it hit the human and alien ships, nothing happened. It worked. Zorp yelled. They think we're monsters too. John didn't waste any time. All ships, attack now, he shouted. What happened next was the craziest battle the galaxy had ever seen. Human ships zipped around, too fast for the monsters to hit. They fired special nets that tangled up the monster ships. Alien ships used mind beams to confuse the monster pilots. Some monsters started flying in circles, too dizzy to fight. Robot ships turned into giant magnets, pulling the monsters' metal weapons right off their ships. But the space monsters fought back hard. They shot sticky goo that slowed down ships. They used sound waves that made pilots' teeth rattle. The battle was so big that it lit up the whole galaxy. From far away, It looked like the biggest fireworks show ever. In the middle of the fight, John saw something strange. The monster ships were all protecting one big weird-looking ship. "That must be their leader's ship," John said. "If we can stop that one, we might win." But the ship was surrounded by hundreds of monsters. How could they get close? Then Zorp had an idea. "What if we use the stuff that makes things shrink? We could make a ship tiny, sneak past the monsters, then make it big again." "Brilliant," John said. He called Sarah. "We need the shrink ray now." Sarah's ship flew close. It shot a blue beam at John's ship. Suddenly, the star hammer was the size of a toy. "Wow, I feel funny," Zorp said, his voice squeaky and small. The tiny ship flew past all the fighting. The monsters didn't even notice it. When they got to the leader's ship, Sarah made them big again. John's ship was now right next to the monster leader. Everyone could see the leader through the window. It looked surprised. "Fire the special weapon," John ordered. A rainbow beam shot out from the star hammer. When it hit the monster ship, something amazing happened. The ship turned into a giant bubble. Inside the bubble, the monsters floated around, looking confused. They couldn't control their ship anymore. When the other monsters saw their leader trapped, they started to panic. Some tried to run away. Others just stopped fighting, not sure what to do. "All ships, fire bubble beams," John shouted. Soon, the whole monster fleet was trapped in bubbles. The battle was over. They had won. Cheers erupted across the galaxy. On every planet, aliens danced in the streets. Humans high-fived their new alien friends. Back on the Star Hammer, John looked out at the sea of bubbles. The monsters didn't look so scary now. "What should we do with them?" Zorp asked. John thought for a moment. "Let's take them somewhere they can't hurt anyone. Maybe they'll learn to be nice." As the fleet started pushing the bubbles towards an empty part of space, John smiled. Humans had not only helped save the galaxy, but they had done it without destroying their enemy. The big battle was over, but John knew this was just the beginning. Humans and aliens working together could do amazing things. Who knew what adventures they would have next? One thing was sure. The galaxy would never be the same again. Aliens say sorry. The big battle was over. The galaxy was safe. But now came the hard part, cleaning up the mess and making things right. John stood in the grand hall of the Galactic Council. The room was packed with aliens from every corner of the universe. They all wanted to see the human hero who had saved them all. The blue alien leader stepped forward. His 3 eyes blinked nervously. He cleared his throat, making a sound like bubbles popping. "Humans of Earth," he began, his voice shaky. We were wrong about you. We laughed at you, made fun of you, and then you saved us all. We're sorry. So very sorry." The room was so quiet you could hear a pin drop. Everyone held their breath, waiting to see what John would do. John looked around the room. He saw aliens of all shapes and sizes. Some had tentacles, others had wings. Some glowed in the dark, others changed colors as they breathed. They were all so different, but they all looked ashamed. He thought about how they had treated humans before. The jokes, the insults, the way they looked down on Earth. For a moment, he felt angry. But then he remembered something his grandmother used to say. "Forgiveness is the mark of a great heart." John took a deep breath and smiled. "We accept your apology," he said. "But let's not just say sorry. Let's learn from this and work together to make the galaxy better for everyone." A cheer went up from the crowd. Aliens hugged each other. Some even tried to hug John, which was tricky for the ones with spikes. Zorp, who was standing next to John, tugged on his sleeve. "What do we do now?" he asked. John grinned. "Now comes the fun part. We learn from each other." And that's exactly what they did. Over the next few weeks, the Galactic Council Hall turned into the biggest show and tell in the universe. Humans taught aliens about Earth things. They showed them how to make pizza, how to play soccer, and how to dance the robot. The aliens loved it all, even if some of them got a bit tangled up trying to do the Macarena. The aliens shared their cool stuff too. They taught humans how to use telepathy. It gave John a bit of a headache at first. How to grow plants that glowed in the dark, and how to build ships that could fold up into tiny boxes. Sarah, the head of Earth's defense, set up a big training program. Humans and aliens learned to fight together, combining their different skills. It was pretty funny to see a tiny, fuzzy alien teaching a big, tough human soldier how to sneak around quietly. But it wasn't all fun and games. There was serious work to do too. The Council set up a new team to watch for any more space threats. They called it the Galactic Guard, and it had members from every planet. They also had to figure out what to do with the space monsters, who were still floating around in their big bubbles. "We can't just leave them like that forever," John said. "Maybe we can teach them to be nice." So they set up a special school for the space monsters. It was tough at first. The monsters didn't want to learn. They just growled and tried to bite the teachers. But slowly, things got better. One day, a little monster drew a picture of itself holding hands. Well, claws, with an alien. Everyone cheered. As the days went by, the galaxy changed. Planets that used to ignore each other started trading and sharing ideas. Ships zipped back and forth, carrying curious travelers who wanted to see new worlds. Earth became a popular spot for alien tourists. They loved the beaches, the mountains, and especially the pizza. Some aliens liked Earth so much, they decided to stay. One day, John was walking through a park on Earth. He saw human kids playing with alien kids. They were teaching each other games from their home planets. Zorp, who had become John's best alien friend, was there too. He was trying to eat an ice cream cone, which was tricky with his 3 tongues. "You know," Zorp said, licking ice cream off his nose, "I'm glad we were wrong about humans. You guys are pretty cool." John laughed. "Thanks, Zorp. I think you aliens are pretty cool too." As they watched the sun set, turning the sky pink and orange, John thought about how much had changed. The galaxy wasn't perfect. There were still problems to solve and new challenges to face. But now, they would face them together. Humans, aliens, and even the space monsters who were learning to be nice. John smiled. The future was bright, and it was full of surprises, and that was just the way he liked it. As night fell and the stars came out, John pointed to the sky. "So Zorp," he said with a grin, "where should we go next?" Zorp's eyes lit up with excitement. The next big adventure was just beginning. Humans become space heroes. 5 years had passed since the big battle with the space monsters. The galaxy had changed a lot. And humans? Well, they had become the biggest heroes in space. John stood on the bridge of the Stardancer, Earth's newest and coolest spaceship. It was huge, shiny, and could do things that seemed like magic. "Captain John," said a voice behind him. It was Zorp, now his official alien first officer. "We're ready for the parade." John smiled. Today was Galaxy Day, a new holiday to celebrate all the different aliens working together, and humans were the guests of honor. The Stardancer led a line of ships from every planet. They flew in a rainbow pattern, shooting sparkly dust behind them. On every world, aliens looked up and cheered. "Remember when they used to laugh at us?" John said to Zorp. Zorp chuckled, his antenna wiggling. Now they all want to be like humans. It was true. Humans have become famous for their clever ideas and brave actions. Alien kids played with toy spaceships shaped like Earth rockets. They wore T-shirts with pictures of human heroes. Even human food had become popular. You could find pizza shops on planets millions of miles from Earth. But being heroes wasn't always easy. Humans had to solve a lot of space problems. Once, they helped 2 alien groups who were fighting over a small planet. John had a smart idea. "Why don't you share the planet? You can live on opposite sides, and meet in the middle to trade. The aliens thought this was brilliant. They became friends and named the planet's biggest city after John. Another time, a team of humans led by Sarah saved a whole solar system from a hungry space cloud that was eating stars. They used a giant space vacuum cleaner to suck up the cloud and turn it into harmless sparkles. The hardest job was teaching the space monsters to be nice, but humans didn't give up. They found out the monsters were angry because their home planet was too hot. So, humans invented a giant sun umbrella to cool down the monster world. Soon, the monsters weren't so grumpy anymore. Some even joined the Galactic Guard. As the parade ended, John got a special call. It was from the Galactic Council. "Captain John," said the blue alien leader, who was now a good friend, "we need your help. We've found a new part of the galaxy. It's full of strange things we don't understand. Will you explore it for us?" John felt excited. A new adventure. "Of course," he said. "We'll prepare right away." News of the mission spread fast. Soon, aliens from all over were asking to join. Everyone wanted to be part of a human-led space crew. John and Sarah worked together to pick the best team. They chose aliens with all sorts of special skills. Some could breathe in space, others could talk to rocks, and one could even turn invisible. On launch day, the Stardancer was ready to go. It was filled with the best technology from every world. Earth guitars played alongside alien single horns in the ship's band. The kitchen could make both human burgers and wiggly alien blob cakes. As the ship prepared to leave, John looked at his crew. Humans and aliens worked side by side, all wearing the same uniform with an Earth flag and a galactic symbol. 5 years ago, humans were new to space, John said to everyone. We were laughed at and thought to be weak. But we proved ourselves with our bravery, our clever ideas, and our big hearts. The crew cheered. Some aliens waved their tentacles. Others flashed different colors to show they were happy. Now we're going to explore new places and meet new aliens, John continued. Remember, we're not just here to be heroes. We're here to make friends, to learn, and to show everyone that working together makes us all stronger. Zort pressed some buttons, his 3 hands moving fast. Course is set, Captain, he said. Where exactly are we going? John grinned and pointed to the big screen showing the stars. That way, he said, towards adventure. With a flash of light and a zoom of power, the Stardancer shot into space. Cheers erupted from every planet as they watched it go. Humans, once the newest and least respected species in the galaxy, were now leading the way to exciting new discoveries. As the ship disappeared into the stars, a little alien child looked up at her mom. Do you think I could be like the humans when I grow up? She asked. Her mom smiled and hugged her with 3 of her 6 arms. Of course you can, she said. The humans have taught us that anyone can be a hero if they're brave, kind, and never give up. And so, the greatest adventure of all continued. Humans and aliens together, ready to face whatever the universe had in store for them. In the deep darkness of space, the Stardancer flew on, carrying with it the hope, dreams, and friendship of the entire galaxy. The end, or perhaps just the beginning of an even bigger story.